Hey guys, HDvee here, and welcome to a brand new video. Today, we've got quite a few things to go over for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. We have new potential DLC leak updates for the Generation 9 games in regards to Paradox Suicune and Paradox Virizion. We have sales updates for the Generation 9 games, and the numbers they're doing is absolutely insane. A lot of stuff to go over today, so if you're excited for the video, as always, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes, really does help out. Leave a comment with your thoughts on anything we cover in today's video. Subscribe if you're brand new for daily Pokemon content. Ring the notification bell. With all of that out of the way though, let's get into the video, and I really hope that you enjoy. So, starting things off, let's take a look at the new sales numbers for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, and this does actually have an impact on like future Pokemon games and stuff like that. But either way, Cerebi tweeted out earlier today saying, as of December 31st, 2022, so that was a month ago as well, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have sold 20.61 million units. That is absolutely ridiculous, and to compare, by December 31st, 2019, Pokemon Sword and Shield had sold 16.06 million units. So they've sold over 4 million more units, and I know that more people own Switches and stuff now than they did in 2019. But this is really crazy. The fact that they are they've sold this many units in like 6-7 weeks is just absolute mind-boggling. If we actually move on to the sales for all Pokemon games, so it's tweeted out by Joe Merrick saying, here's the current ranking for Pokemon sales with the newer data added in. Scarlet and Violet, after just 6 weeks on sale, is the 4th best-selling Pokemon game of all time, which is crazy, because that means that once the DLC's out and stuff, Scarlet and Violet could potentially even knock like Red, Green, and Blue off the top spot. And if that happens, that basically means that Pokemon have to look at that and be like, okay, this game absolutely smashed it. We've got to do more open world games because clearly people really like it. And that, I mean, I would absolutely love to see more open world games in the future. I think it's a really good step in the right direction. This also doesn't mean, because a lot of people do think this, that if they're selling this many copies with all the bugs and the glitches and stuff, that doesn't mean that like they're not bothered and that patches aren't going to come out and stuff because they can, I guess, quote unquote, get away with it. That isn't the case. They are still working on the games. We literally covered it yesterday. The Nintendo general manager of Canada or something did say that, you know, they're listening to the feedback and stuff of players, and they are sorting all out in next updates and stuff like that. It is really unfortunate that these games had so many issues and do still have so many issues, but I think on the next Nintendo console, which hopefully does get announced at some point during this year, I don't think we're going to have those kind of problems. The Switch capabilities aren't like crazy, and I think the next Nintendo console will be absolutely fine, and I think Pokemon games going forward on that console will be absolutely fine. But yeah, I mean, as a Pokemon fan, this is really cool to see that, you know, a game that they've just released 6 weeks ago is now the 4th best-selling Pokemon game of all time. It's absolutely bizarre, and this also means that in the future, you know, they probably are going to go back to and use what made Scarlet and Violet so good in future Pokemon games. Also really interesting that I don't know why Crystal is the worst selling Pokemon game of all time in like main series games and stuff. That's really interesting. And there's Emerald and Platinum. I mean, I get that they're like 3rd installment games, but you know, these are some of like the best games. And Black 2 and White 2 as well, like 4th worst selling Pokemon game of all time. Like how Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee outsold that is just beyond me. Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, those games were banging. But yeah, this is the overall sales of Pokemon games of all time. But anyway, that's really cool news for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It does mean that we're probably going to have certain features of the Generation 9 games in future Pokemon games, maybe open worldness and stuff like that. Anyway, moving on, let's go over some new DLC leak updates and rumors for the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, and this is all about Paradox Suicune. I think Paradox Virizion as well. This was tweeted out by Silverart, quote retweeting something from PokeSerena. So PokeSerena here said, this is the second line from a famous poem. Lucy, I probably pronounced that wrong, I do apologize. The first line of the poem was, it matters not the height. If a fairy / saint / legend lives in a mountain, it becomes famous. So the first line might refer to Virizion, the second line Suicune, because it's really interesting going off what like Riddler Khu said. But Silverart talking here saying, big potential Pokemon leaks. Want to know Paradox Suicune's type? If you've been paying attention, you already know that the answer has been known for months, but I'm happy someone finally solved the actual riddle. Let the reader understand. Personally, I think this tweet is even more interesting. So this was something that Riddler Khu tweeted out quite a while ago, you know, saying, you know, you want to know Paradox Suicune's type. It's not depth. If you solve, you know. And then someone used this phrase and said not depth, and then they said that phrase and then not height. And this is what Serena here is saying, you know, it matters not the depth. If a dragon lives in a body of water, it becomes magical. So, you know, dragon water potentially could be the typing of Paradox Suicune, which is, you know, not what anybody's expecting. But yeah, it could be about Paradox Virizion as well. Who knows? We then have this tweet as well from Riddler Khu and Soul Silver, like way back as well. This is all pretty big news, and what you see below is even more detail. Never underestimate Game Freak logic. So Soul Silver here, this was back on the 30th of October last year, saying Paradox Suicune is probably, you know, Paradox Suicune, as Q previously used the same abbreviation for a riddle we all took as PD Suicune. So which of these could it be? Hard to say, but old Suicune is the bottom left, so could be the same or could be the opposite. My guess is never underestimate Game Freak logic. So we got this tweet from Riddler Khu like way back, like on the 29th of October, and he says, what shape is for Paradox Suicune? And I think when we first originally saw this, we thought it was Fuecoco's evolution or something like that, but apparently it was about Paradox Suicune. And I guess if it is fire, like Water Dragon, as the poem says, then this one over here could easily be the actual body shape of Paradox Suicune. We've obviously had this one for the original Suicune, so I don't know if it's... I think it'd be really weird for Paradox Suicune to be like this shape. I mean, this shape as well. So if it's not going to be the exact same shape, it would have to get wings, and I guess if it's a dragon type, that would kind of make sense. But either way, it's very interesting to kind of take note of that you know, he was leaking stuff about Paradox Suicune ages ago. And remember, Paradox Suicune and Virizion were supposed to originally be in the game, but then they cut them for DLC. And that's what Riddler Khu said anyway. And again here, you know, Paradox Suicune, so what's its type? I think everyone is looking at depth here wrong. I think Khu just means it's not deep, like the meaning isn't deep, which means it probably keeps its original type if it has a second type. This was way back when we didn't know, like, Paradox forms, like, kept one of their typings and stuff. Like, it has to be a water type, Paradox Suicune. It just has to be water and something, because all Paradox forms are dual types. That is something we know. That was leaked before the game came out, but obviously all the Paradox forms in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet all do have dual types, so it has to be water something. Some people think it's going to be water fire because of the leaked move that it had, like it was called like Hydro Steam or whatever, but it could also potentially be Dragon as well, and that is what Riddler Khu was kind of like talking about here, because this has to be the riddle that that he's talking about here. Then goes into talking about this here. I thought it was pretty self-explanatory, but let me explain a bit further. Khu said it's not depth and it's not height, which are both phrases in this Chinese song / poem. Now, what words immediately follow it's not depth in the poem? I'm not sure it's not height is actually. So yeah, this is from Serena saying it's from a well-known poem translated from an ancient Chinese poem written in the Tang Dynasty. A mountain does not necessarily to be high. As long as there lives a saint, it will get good frame. A water body does not necessarily to be deep. As long as there exists a dragon, it will demonstrate vital spirit. I had to memorize that poem in elementary school. So yeah, it could be talking about a poem. And I mean, like Riddler Khu's riddles are like really well thought out like this. So it could easily be something as simple as this poem, but again, you have to go out and find this poem to know what he's talking about. But then he goes on to say it's not height, it's actually related to Virizion's type, because the context of Khu's thread is only Suicune's type. But maybe he was telling us both, but I wouldn't take that to the bank just yet. Big thanks to Serena for helping with this. And then lastly, I'll attach my original theory, which was wrong at face value, but right when you look at the big picture. So potentially water drag. I mean, we've got people here saying, you know, still don't understand. Can someone explain? Spoon feed it to me, please. Check my new follow-up tweets for more. Hopefully that helps. But yeah, Water Dragon for Paradox Suicune would be it'd be a pretty cool typing. I mean, I always remember Water Dragon being super busted in like Gen 2 because of Kingdra. Like there wasn't really anything good against it because Ice was neutral. The only good move against it was like Dragon type. And back in like Gen 1 and 2 days, there weren't that many good Dragon type moves. Obviously now the whole thing's different. So there's like Fairy types and stuff like that, and there's a lot better Dragon moves. But I remember Kingdra being so OP back in Generation 2 because of because of that typing. But yeah, Water Dragon will be really cool for Paradox Suicune. And as well as that, we did have Centro Leaks actually tweet out saying, based on this evidence, Paradox Suicune will be Water Fire. And then Riddler Khu like took a look at that and was like, yeah, he's wrong. So it apparently isn't going to be Water Fire. And I think Water Dragon is very much likely to be Paradox Suicune's type for the Generation 9 DLC. Not 100% sure about Virizion yet. That'll have to be Grass something or Fighting something. But yeah, Paradox Suicune looks to be Water Dragon in the Generation 9 games. Again, hopefully we won't have to wait that long to actually see it because Pokemon Day is right around the corner. It's 20 days away. That'll be here. before we know it. So hopefully it does get revealed in that. But either way, that is going to be everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider hitting the like button down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes. It really does help out. Leave a comment with your thoughts on this DLC leak update. Do you think it is going to be a water dragon type, or do you think it's going to be water fire? Let me know your thoughts. Also, what typing do you think Paradox Virizion is going to be as well? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. That is everything from me, though. If you enjoyed, drop a like. Let's try and hit 500. Again, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, or ring the notification bell for daily Pokemon content. It's everything from me. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and until next time, peace.